I thought I'd continue with my town riding demonstration. A little bit drizzly out today. It's been heavily raining for the past couple of days. Today was supposed to be dry as far as I was aware, so I haven't got my waterproofs on today. Nice, planning for the merging lanes. I know through my mirror checks there's nothing to my right, but I'm going to have a little check anyway, just in case I got distracted at any point. Mirrors for the brake lights ahead, just in case they're going to slow down a bit more than I anticipate. And I'm riding the Honda CB500F today, which is a lovely little bike. A really smooth twin engine. A little bit short in first gear, so first gear feels short. You want to get up into second relatively quickly. Once you're up into second, it's actually got quite a lot of power for a restricted horsepower bike. This is the bike that we use for the restricted licenses, the A2 licenses. And all the instructors love this bike because it's so pleasant to ride. It's nimble, very easy to ride, and smooth, provided you're smooth. I seem to be going into the black cloud. So I'm going to keep a good following distance from the white car. I've got a lorry relatively close to the back end of me. And with the bus lane on the left, I'm just keeping a good eye on the bus lane, just in case there's anybody zooming down it, because it is a ULEV bus lane as well. Now, I happen to know this bus lane continues on the other side of the roundabout, so there's no point trying to get past these cars, because we're just going to merge again together. I'm watching the surface on the roundabout because it's wet. I'm just looking for any oil spillages, staying off the drain covers as well. Didn't really need the lifesaver because I was 100% certain there was nothing there, but it's still worth doing a little check every now and then. Nice and positive, back up to speed limit, even though the surface is wet. Just being positive but smooth. Planning ahead, early mirrors, a little bit of brake lights for the lorry ahead, just so he knows that I'm not going to get up the backside of these vehicles on the approach to the roundabout. This is the kind of rain that just sits on the visor, so I keep having to wipe my visor occasionally. Going to move in at the end of the bus lane, have a good check. I'm not going to indicate because I'm so close to the roundabout it could be misinterpreted by any traffic joining from the left. Watch his wheels. Let's be nice and positive. Check my mirrors early whilst watching what this black car's up to, as we all start to slow down together, just in case he starts to change lanes on me. I don't really want to get directly next to him. Down into first gear. There's a little bit of diesel on the road there, just a touch. Worth being aware of as we're coming into a roundabout. Just in case it increases, I'll keep my tyres out of it for now. Check those mirrors. Car's overtaking me from behind, so no point trying to make progress in lane 2. Let's watch the transport vehicle in case he thinks I'm following those cars. Nice and positive up to the speed limit. Those lights changed a little bit too soon for me to do anything about it as it's wet. Looking up the road in front of the lorry, trying to keep my distance back from the green car in front. And I'm going to be turning left at these traffic lights ahead, so checking my mirrors nice and early. Gently easing off the throttle, just keeping everything really smooth because the ground is wet. There's quite a lot of what looks like diesel markings to my right. Can't quite tell actually whether that's just a shiny road surface. It's quite tricky sometimes. In certain lights the road surface looks a different colour and it looks like it might be diesel, but it's just the way the light's shining on it. So mirrors and signal, I'll keep it in second for now. There's no point changing up because I'm about to slow down for the turn. And there's an example of a turn that I was able to do with the clutch fully out, because the engine braking afforded me enough that I wasn't going to swing out wide. Choosing this lane because I know which lane I want after the lights. No need to indicate, there's only one way to go in this lane. Early mirrors, gently easing off, both brakes, clutch, gears, mirrors again, nice and smooth away. Smooth gear change, so we're not interrupting the power. Let's change my plan and my route because it looks a bit busy in that direction, so let's go straight ahead instead. Early mirrors, early brakes, gently squeezing. 50-50 at the moment because it is quite wet. Down to second gear, first gear, just on the rear brake, revs and clutch. Smooth into second, smooth into third. Keeping a good eye on my mirrors. I know there's a blue car in my blind spot to my right. Easing off, gently squeezing the brakes, clutch in, down through the gears. Rear brake to finish, nice and smooth. Keep a good eye on my mirrors whilst I'm stationary in case there's anybody sneaking into my blind spot. Also in town it's worth keeping an eye on your mirrors anyway in case there are emergency services vehicles or anything strange going on around you. Early second, use the power in second, up into fourth now, 32 miles an hour and holding it steady. Checking those mirrors, holding my position in the middle of the lane whilst I'm checking the surface. Early mirrors, early brakes, nice and smooth, clutch, gears, rear brake. It surprises me when vehicles race up to the red lights next to you and then they don't actually get to the line. Weird. So keep an eye on those mirrors. Maybe he heard me. He's crept up to the line now. Still checking my mirrors. Quite happy that there's nobody in my blind spot. Lights are changing. Make sure nobody's jumping the lights. Second gear. Third gear. Now perhaps Mr. White Car's going to stay in that lane, perhaps he isn't, so now I'm stuck at 28 miles an hour wondering whether he wants to move over on me. Just watching the surface on this stretch, I happen to know it's quite bumpy with a number of sunken drain covers. Mirrors again. nice watching nobody's about to jump out into this lane. And on both of those traffic lights, I'd already made the decision that I would be going through if they changed. Because of the road surface being wet, I don't want to be suddenly braking when the lights change. And we describe that as planning your point of no return. So plan the point where if they change, you're still going to be going through. And it prevents you from doing sudden late braking, especially in poor conditions. But it's good forward planning practice. So looking all the way up the road, I can see parked cars on the left. Going to be thinking about any entranceways in between the parked cars. So entrances, driveways, looks like a park on the left. And always considering what could be coming out of those entrances. Also watching the side roads on the right, watching this pedestrian crossing. It's quite busy through here, you have to have eyes in your elbows. So zebra crossing. Oh, he was going to cross and he changed his mind. Nobody's crossing, we're good. I'm going to indicate, even though I know the only way I can go is right. Keeping it tight. And again, clutch is out in second gear because this bike has got quite a lot of engine braking in second gear. Didn't need to use the clutch on that particular mini roundabout. On others, where it's tighter, we might need to pull the clutch in and then gently reintroduce as we come round to prevent us from running wide. So mirrors, going to be turning left, signal, brakes, clutch and gears. Let's assess the roundabout. Is he going? He is, but I'm going to. Little check to my left. Try not to get too close to the car in front. Are these pedestrians thinking about crossing before they get to the crossing? And I'm going to be turning right at the mini roundabout. Just the rear brake at these speeds, it's lovely and smooth. Little check, make sure there's no pedestrians leaping onto the crossing just as I'm about to get onto it. Happy Mr. Saab's not going anywhere. And no, I didn't go over the painted white circle. It was close, but I didn't go over it. Lovely, just allow these vehicles enough space. Time this, lifesaver, out we come, just watching DPD. Give them a little thank you. Check my mirrors, slow down because I now can't see how close that car's got past the bus, or towards the bus rather. Just hold back, give them enough room. Lovely, so I was quite positive at the back end of that truck that I wanted to get past, but then eased off a little bit as I came to the front end in case somebody walked out in front of it. Just using the opportunity to get past the truck whilst I had the moment before the van came towards me. Planning ahead, the little blue car's going to want to come out past these parked cars, so I'm going to reduce my speed because they're likely to come out anyway. Oh bless, they haven't. I'll give them a little wave, thank you. Indicator on the bus is on, so I'm going to hold back until I can get a view past the bus. Shoulder check and out we go, just watching the junctions on the left and the right. Now I'm going to pick my speed up. Keeping a safe distance, equalising the danger. As soon as I get any oncoming traffic, I'm going to move in. I'm still a good distance away from the parked cars though, so I can keep my speed up. Easing off a little bit here because the gap's reducing. Mirrors, back on the power. Going to be turning left at the end of the road. Watch Mr. Van. Both brakes. Clutch and gears. Down to second. This is a stop line. So even though there's nothing coming, stop. And let's go.